I have been playing Pokemon games on and off for the past year. Before I started playing them, it was the series I owned the most copies of for a series that I've never played a whole lot. After playing through Gen 1, 2, 4, and part of 3, I consider that they are really solid concepts that are bogged down by tedious RPG elements. Many RPG staples were bred by hardware limitations and a focus on story. At the time, gameplay needed to be sacrificed to tell a good story, but today, you shouldn't have to sacrifice gameplay for a good story. What's weird about Pokemon is that it's an RPG that does not focus on story. Kind of. It also figures out how to make turn-based combat fun. Again, kind of. What's cool about the series is that the actual Pokemon, they're cool and charming. I can't really talk about Pokemon in the series without talking about the actual Pokemon, which is why I will limit myself to only mention 16 in the first 4 generations. Sandshot looks so cool with his spikes, Snorlax is lazy and has bottom teeth, Gengar is awesome, he has a big tongue, Ivysaur has a huge down hair, and Smash Brothers, wrong game, Quagsire has a big mouth, Furret has a small mouth, Heracross doesn't even have a mouth, Cyndaquil has fire, Mudkip is like another Quagsire, Cacnea is a ball, Ludicolo has a sombrero, Breloom is a fighting mushroom, Piplup was a penguin, Torterra is a planet, Rampardos is really high attack and bad everything else, but we make it work. Licky Licky has an even bigger tongue than Gengar. This is the cool thing about Pokemon, is the actual Pokemon, the actual designs. It's weird how a game made in the late 90s with black and white pixelated animals did this well. There's something special about finding your Pokemon and teaching it certain moves or fighting with it. Catching enemies rather than killing them is an interesting take on the genre. That and the music. Good music has always been a staple of RPGs, but Pokemon takes it to a whole new level. Everything is so good, especially in Generation 4. Oh my god, there is not a single bad piece in that game. The only other game where I can think of a soundtrack that good is Final Fantasy VII, and that game has One-Winged Angel. Like, come on, what are we going up against? There's this song. And then the music gets relaxed. And then the music gets all groovy. Then it becomes majestic. Cool thing about that is those are only the first 4 songs in the game. Throughout the whole game, the songs are this good. Especially Cynthia's theme. Oh my god. One part that most video games have is gameplay. At its best, the gameplay of Pokemon is strategic, thought-provoking, and planned. At its worst, the gameplay is spam a single move until you win. I've played a lot of Showdown. I've even made it on ladder in randoms until I dropped very badly. I'm not an expert at competitive Pokemon, but my opinions have validity because I've played it for a decently long time. Showdown's game is infinitely more fun than the actual game. Playing against actual people instead of brain-dead computers, the difference is night and day. There's setting up sweeps and showdowns, and then there's spamming one super effective move in a gym. The most fun gameplay got in the actual games was when you scouted ahead to see what type of gym you're up against, and then plan your team accordingly. Maybe you find a TM there or a move tutor there. The gameplay is fun, but I think 24 hours of fun is definitely pushing it. Difficulty has always been weird in games with level and experience systems. You can be the best ever at a game, but if you're underleveled, you lose. The other Pokemon get to attack first and kills you in one go with its entire attack. The way you get experience kind of sucks as well. There are scripted encounters and random encounters. You get more XP from scripted encounters than random ones, but random ones, you get to catch different Pokemon. Start with random encounters. Random encounters are a relic of the past, like bad controllable cameras and measles. Walking through places where you can get random encounters is draining, especially in places like caves. You get one every few steps and it halts your progression like a wall. In normal games, weak enemies can be easily dispatched of with an attack or two. In Pokemon, you have to watch a good 10 seconds of animations, of bad Game Boy animations, before being able to run from the encounter. There is a repel to counteract the random encounters, but one of these days I will find a shiny and I don't want to lose my chance. Even turning off the animation still takes forever. For this reason alone, I cannot recommend anyone play this on original hardware because they can't raise the game speed. The thing about experience system is annoying. I fight every scripted encounters and get enough XP to what I think is enough to support 4 Pokemon without grinding wild Pokemon, except in Gen 2, whose level curve is absolutely broken. In Final Fantasy VII, characters still got XP if they aren't in your party. Not a ridiculous amount, but enough so that if you want to switch the characters, it would be decently easy. Pokemon has none of that, not even within the party. Let's say you're crossing a cave with tons of rock Pokemon. You gotta bring out your water type to deal with all those super effectively, making something like your fire type Pokemon underleveled because you can't use it because it's weak to rock. After the cave, you reach a forest with tons of grass Pokemon. Sorry, bucko, you can't use that water type anymore. If only you had a fire type that was high enough level. The game repeatedly conditions you to use super effective matchups and then punishes you later down the line for leveling up only one Pokemon. Thankfully, a lot of these issues were remedied in Generation 8. Experience is shared in the party, TMs last forever, and random encounters are kind of done away with. Pokemon now appear on the overworld, but there still are random encounters for whatever reason. There are, however, still avoidable. The games become less of a pain to play. However, a lot of what makes Pokemon special isn't here anymore. I think what a lot of people point to is how some Pokemon were cut from the roster. There are nearly 1,000 Pokemon, which would take a huge amount of resources to model, animate, and store. On the other hand, over each game, Game Freak has set a precedent of keeping every single Pokemon in each new installment. If you're going to take something like that away, you have to add something to replace it. In this case, it was animations, which are just awful. The Pokemon are very static, which loses the charm of the design and completely breaks immersion. Battle Revolution and the GameCube Pokemon games look far better than this. I even believe there's an argument can be made that the Gen 5 sprites look better, or even Pokemon on the N64. One more year, at least one more year of work on the visuals of the game would have gone a long way to make the game look actually passable. Not to mention the cutscenes. If you're gonna put a black screen to avoid animating something, why bother having cutscenes at all? I think Pokemon can be easily compared to Dragon Quest XI, also on the Switch. I've only played the demo for this comparison, but the enemies in that game are far more animated. Even the slimes, which are literally just blue spheres, look better than every single Pokemon in the game. Not to mention that there's actually voice acting and no frame dips, and the Pokemon actually appear when they should. The music isn't great. Without a doubt, I think it's the weakest Pokemon soundtrack, at least out of the ones that I've played. The gym leader theme is good, the rival battle theme is good, and that's pretty much it. I am still waiting for a definitive Pokemon game to come around. One where all the qualities that make Pokemon Pokemon are still there, along with quality of life improvements. The Gen 4 remakes coming to Switch look... Definitely not a fan of the art style, and it seems like there are going to be random encounters. If you're gonna remake a game, why bother if you aren't gonna change anything? Lastly, Legends of Arceus. I am very mixed about this. The concept looks phenomenal. I've been saying Breath of the Wild Pokemon would be great. Here it is. There are no new Pokemon, but I don't think it's a problem. Once again, there are 1,000 Pokemon. I'm sure people won't have trouble finding ones they like. Something that I do find concerning is the frame rate, and for some reason the Pokemon just sit there idly. I'm sure Game Freak is smart enough to get some Pokemon AI good enough to make it seem like Pokemon are real animals and moving around doing activities. Even Breath of the Wild's animals have that, and they aren't even the focus of the game. Hopefully it will come one day, but for now, I'm sticking to Digimon only.